That is what a leader does. They set by example. And we see this theme in Leonidas. I don't know if you saw the movie, the 300, the battle of Leonidas the Spartan against the enemy. Again, this man led by example. He went into the front of the army and with his troops marched in. Another example we see in the Odyssey. These are all examples of leadership and how the ancient Greeks saw leadership. Okay? It was the leader inside working with the people. And Leonidas and Odysseus too, always participating, never dictating. And as a matter of fact, there was a nice show on last night about the Odyssey, and I noticed also, how did Odysseus defeat the Cyclops, the one-eyed monster that was huge, much huger than him by 10 times? Through his ingenuity. He got the Cyclops drunk, basically. He got him drunk, and then he had his men kill him. Because there was no way they were going to defeat this huge monster, except for using creativity and ingenuity. Two other very important leadership qualities. All of this leadership activity happening harmoniously with religions that were very peaceful, very often led by women. We had high priestesses in ancient Greece. Imagine all of the church today with women bishops or women popes. We had this in ancient Greece. There was no need for feminism. That was already done 2,000 years ago. Okay, then we went backwards somehow. But the point is that Greeks also came up with this idea of Olympics. They dared to say, you know what? There's going to be world peace just for 2 weeks. We're going to create peace treaties and peace just so that the Olympics can happen. So these were revolutionary ideas in times of darkness. And yet they did them. They had crazy ideas and they went ahead and they applied them. What did this mean? As a psychologist, I can tell you, neurobiology is telling us the following, that you can't only think from one side of your brain, okay? We know that the right side of the brain is the creative, intuitive, holistic, emotional side. It's the artistic side. Okay, so for the Greeks, it was very important to keep a balance between the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. You can't only develop the left side. Now, I know many of you are accountants, and you're using your left side very much, the analytical, logical, linear side. But I do want to encourage you, and in your leadership programs, to develop the whole human being. Without that, we are just well-functioning robots, okay? We need to rise above it and be inspired human beings. So what has modern man achieved after 2,500 years? Yes, he's reached the moon, and soon we'll all be traveling to Mars for Christmas holidays. But what advances has he made within himself? Today, in management, a very important term is emotional intelligence. Hello, know thyself. Back to ancient Greek philosophy. Know thyself. We are not still able to manage our anger, manage our stress, and yet we know how it's done. We know that we can develop leadership programs, we can exercise peace and tranquility. There are exercises that you can learn. And again, going back to Socrates, he who would like to change the world should try to change himself first. So very, very important is the development of our personalities. Okay. All it will take is a change of perspective. Okay. How many of you here see an old lady in the painting? Just to lift your hand, the old lady. How many of you see the young lady, the very young lady? There you have it. Half see the old lady, half see the young lady. And of course, the real fact is that both are there. So what we're going to have to do is shift our perspective to be all-inclusive. Left brain thinking and right brain thinking. We need, in general, to change our perspective onto what is our potential. In the same way that they had in ancient Greece, that they considered each person a small god, and that he could raise to a higher level and see the whole picture. We need to move from the worldview of fear to a worldview of faith. Although mass media is trying its best to keep us in a world of fear, there's really no reason. These are extreme situations. If we all unite through faith rather than fear, you can see that we can all benefit and create win-win situations. All we have to do is move from our comfort zone. We're all very comfortable. You may not look like this or sit on your couch because I know you're all very busy people, but maybe we have an internal comfort zone, right? Right? Maybe there's someone who doesn't want to move from his own perspective. And this is what it's going to take. It's going to take for all of us to get up off of our internal couch and switch perspectives. So, coming to our conclusion slowly, what do we say about building leaders today? We need our leadership development to become in teams. You need to set up programs where people are becoming leaders in teams. The time of the Lone Ranger and the lonesome cowboy are over. What we need are people working together. Become team players, okay? And only in this atmosphere of team leadership can we actually have results for everybody. In these teams, we want to have inquirers and critical thinkers to dare to ask why. Why are things going the way they're going all these years in this company? Why don't we change this? Just because something has been happening for years, it doesn't mean it has to stay that way, okay? Become critical thinkers. Dare to ask why, okay? And become proactive. Become the change you want to see. Aristotle reminded us that an unmeditated life is not worth living. And I ask, we have the big cars, we have the fancy houses, but do we know ourselves? Do we know who we are? And according to Aristotle, this is no life at all if you don't know yourself. So I would urge you all to have some time with yourself in nature and rediscover what are your principles and values. What are you living for? What are the principles you live for? And then inspire those in the people you work with. Okay, here's an example. Integrity, responsibility can be the center. Compassion and love. Enjoyment, challenge, and helping others. These are values and principles which one can live by. You choose for yourself. You find out what's most important to you. Thucydides, philosopher, also once said, "The bravest are surely those who have the clearest vision of what is before them, glory and danger alike, and yet notwithstanding go out to meet it." So what is he saying? He's saying, go ahead, dare it. Whatever it is, just go into that challenge, similar to Alexander the Great or Leonidas. So, a leader, what does he do after all? What does he or she do? They inspire others. Thank you very much for your attention. If you liked what you heard today, you're always welcome to visit my internet channel, DR.ALKISTIS TV. Thank you very much for listening.